Greetings everyone, and welcome to another episode of Colonel Comics Reads. This episode, of course, we have Fantastic Four, the new #1 by Dan Slott, and this book, it comes very close to getting it right, but just doesn't quite make the cut. It has some great elements to it, some fantastic elements to it, actually, but there are just some things in the book that really kind of drag it down, and of course, unless it's perfectly progressive, it's not progressive at all. So this is, of course, a hate book, and just like on the cover, I will be burning this as soon as this review is complete. So let's sort of start by judging the cover. That's sort of my favorite thing to do as a lefty, just sort of judge the book by its cover. So let's have a look here. Now, it's not too bad. I mean, of course, it's very blue, a little bit of male gaze, yeah, going on right here, but we'll stay away from that. And of course, we've got a giant. It's not quite like the Immortal Hulk, not quite as toxic, but a little bit of toxic masculinity here, and of course, a bit of Edwin Boyette on the front of the book here. So let's get into it, shall we? And just kind of see what we're dealing with. Okay, so we start off here with something that's a little bit concerning. On the face of it, it's very, you know, nice-looking family, but as soon as you start looking at the closer details, that's where you start noticing some problems. So, first of all, can I just note, stretchy, a little bit derivative of, what is that movie? The Incredibles? So that's, you know, kind of, can we maybe move past that, get some originality here, huh? And secondly, have you noticed anything with this family? I'll give you 88 guesses. How about that, huh? Does that give you a clue? Got the little boy. I assume that's a girl. Yeah. All white, blue-eyed, Aryan stock. Not very impressed, Dan Slott. Not very impressed at all. Yeah, we're starting off the book with some subtle hate imagery here, or not so subtle, as I should say. We've practically got a swastika in the background here. I mean, look, add a few more lines to this, and you've got a full-blown Nazi family here with a giant rock monster as the muscle. So, look, let's move past that. I'm sure Dan Slott didn't mean it. It's the first page of all. You've got to get into the rhythm of things. So let's continue, shall we? Okay, we come through here, and we're kind of getting introduced to Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm as we're coming through to this story here. We don't see a whole lot of the rest of the team, but, you know, of course, they're gone or dead as far as we're concerned at this point. So we come through, kind of perpetuating some stereotypes, but it's not too bad here. I mean, the male holding all of the groceries, the shopping, but it's only because she's blind and diverse. That's great. Fantastic. Claps. I haven't clapped in a while for a comic book, so let's get some of those in for this sort of second page already. Now, we come across there. He's, of course, getting fawned over by lots of pussy, and she's quite liking that, actually, for a change. I will just get it off the, you know, just out there right now, get it out of the way. I don't know how a giant rock monster and this diverse woman actually have any relations. You know, I'm sure you will understand what I mean. I'm sure he would absolutely destroy her if anything like that got up to her. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe that little cane has a second purpose. But let's continue on down here to the ball game, where we've got Johnny Storm and his friend. And at the beginning, it looks great. It looks like he's another diverse couple. You know, they're getting close. There's some nice physical contact. The heat that will be radiating off of Johnny Storm is just, nah. But no, roomy, yeah. Okay, way to cuck yourself out of some diversity there, Dan Slott. Fantastic, yeah, just great. And I was being sarcastic if you couldn't tell. It's terrible. Why not have them be a gay couple? I mean, really, is that so hard? That was the day that everything changed. Now, they're, of course, on the kiss cam. They're not kissing for some reason, but Johnny seems to be okay with that because he's got about 800 pounds of diversity hanging off his shoulders right there. And as they're about to go for it, we come through, and someone shoots a flare, calling for the Fantastic Four in the original sort of sense. So you know, they both go to flee to this symbol. Now, this is what makes me second-guess this relationship, because, you know, I knew it. Does it mean what I hope it means? And this saucy look at how saucy that is. My God, when I read that for the first time, I had to put my pants back on. It blew the pants off of me. So anyway, he gets all hot and bothered and storms off in a fitful, sexually frustrated fit of rage. Ben Grimm is a little depressed by it. He was loving the attention he was getting by this disabled lady, but he abandons her on a park bench. And, yeah, we go through more of Johnny Storm flying through the city. She's begging him to stay. And again, as with all comics, I've barely read this, so don't pay attention to the dialogue. We're merely going off of visual clues here, because if you can't really tell what's going on with just the art, you're not doing it well as a writer, of course. So we come through, but it turns out it's just a diverse individual and his subversive white friend who must have coerced him into doing this illegal act. Because as we come through, Johnny Storm is basically about to flame this kid, but basically we've got the white kid lying, saying that he told him not to do it, but the diverse gentleman, he's really sassing Johnny Storm here. He ain't gonna burn nobody, he's just gonna stick... I'll call him Tyrone. Tyrone is basically really just giving it to Johnny here, thinking he's not going to burn him, and thankfully Johnny is quite woke, so he's not going to just gun down this diverse young Tyrone. But yeah, that's I wouldn't be sassing a flame man who's right in front of you that you've just pissed off, talking about his dead family. Not the smartest move, Tyrese. So let's go on. We've got a news reporter here, basically just giving us a full rundown of what's happened in the past with the Fantastic Four, with these cosmic rays. I've always loved the cosmic rays. It makes a lot of sense, of course, in their bullet-shaped spaceship. I think I've got the original Fantastic Four floating around here somewhere with all that stuff in it. It's great. It's really lovely. The clothes they wear in the original are just, they're worth it alone to buy it. Now, they run through a little bit of all the different members who have filled in the slots throughout the years. We've got nice 3 women and another diverse gentleman here filling in the spaces, so that's great. More claps for this book, because, you know, what more can you ask for? You ditch the heteronormative couple, and you start filling it with some of these people. I'm sure at least 2 out of 3 of these women are lesbians. I mean, why not? That's great. Her eyes in particular. You can tell. You can really tell. All right. So we come through. They're letting off those children, you know, with some community service, and we've got Ben Grimm here, the old white gentleman, of course, left the door completely unlocked for those children to run in and just grab whatever they want. And of course, we can see there they've stolen the original flare. Shameful, really, shameful. Now, apparently nothing in here is worth any money. That's what Ben Grimm says. It's all sentimental value. But really, I find it very hard to believe that the original gun, the original flare gun, would not be worth any money to any sort of collectors out there. I'm sure that would be worth millions, literally millions. I mean, come on, what is this? It's a collector's item, I mean, really. Okay, so we go through, he's got some memories in a box here about some lady who wants people to sing for them, to get them back, some male gaze. Do not look at that. Look at all of that male gaze. Not much male gaze right there, but, you know, that's okay. There's enough up the top half here to keep us going. Don't look at it, of course. She's got a bit of a sourpuss face there because nobody thinks that she can sing as well as Johnny. And so he starts singing something about Dankeschön. Don't really know what that is. It sounds like the evil language, so I won't read that. We'll keep going past that and, you know, get towards the end of this book and towards the favourite part, which is some diversity tips. Now, they, of course, get home. He won't shut the hell up. He keeps singing. And this spurs the Thing into action. So this little, this memory, this little sparky thing here, he comes through to the, just bursts into this blind girl's apartment late at night and proposes to her. So again, I do have a problem with this, actually. I do. Although she is, you know, a disabled individual, this is just really perpetuating the heteronormative stereotypes of, you know, giant rock monsters marrying disabled women. And that's got to stop, you know. There's too many examples of this throughout history, and it always ends badly. I'm sure he'll end up beating her, or accidentally stepping on her or something, or killing her during their inaugural lovemaking session. I mean, really, again, touching back to the start of the video, that's what I'm really afraid of. Every time I see this couple, that is all I can think about, quite frankly. So we come through here, he asks him to be his best man. Yeah. Really wants to be his best man, but Johnny sulks. He flies off because how can he be a best man when gay marriage is still illegal? I mean, he and his roommate obviously want to get together and get married. This sets Johnny off, and he flies off into the air, calling for a signal. Of course, none comes because, I mean, the other 2 members are dead, as far as we know. Reed Richards and Sue Storm. And he comes down, a giant waterworks through here, and they all embrace as one big happy Aryan family. However, at the end here, we can see they put a giant signal out in the sky. It turns out that Sue and Reed are still alive, a little bit tattered, a little bit worse for wear, on some planet through here. And they put a giant signal out in the sky. A giant swastika. No, it's a 4. It's a 4, not a swastika. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself there. I was thinking about earlier in the book when I thought it was a swastika. But they put a giant one out over the planet, and yeah, that seems to make them a little happy here. Yeah. Now, there's a little bit more to the book here. We jump over to Latveria, where there's a woman breaking into Dr. Doom's apartment. Well, apartment, castle, same sort of thing, really. I'm sure he rents out the rooms. I mean, how else are you going to afford that? Turns out he's just naked, running wild throughout his castle. I mean, now, I like to do that sometimes when I'm home alone, but really, that's my house. I can do what I like here. When you're running a giant castle B&B, not the best manners to do this, and also not very good manners to destroy all the robot servants. I mean, who's going to bring you tea now? Now, we come through. She convinces him that Latveria needs him to put on his real face again, this mask. Again, I don't know who wears masks. Cowards wear masks. Soy-filled cowards wear masks. Again, I've done it wrong. I've used soy as a derogatory term. We'll just call him a cockroach. Yes, this cockroach man puts on his fake face and rushes out naked, you know, swinging his hands around like he's got magic, diddling things. He's a regular James Gunn over here, and yeah, starts taking back over his country. I don't know where he was. I guess he was just staying in the bath too long. But that's the end of the book, basically. So let's flip back and to my favourite part of the book, the diversity tips. So, on the cover here, there's only one woman, toxic masculinity here, too much male gaze. Let's just put them all in burqas, huh? How about that? Just put giant black sleeves over all of them, and I think that would kind of solve a lot of the male gaze issues. You couldn't tell if that was a woman or not. You could look. That's Ebon Boyette. We can maybe leave his face. He's a bit of an ally, I think. And let's cover that up, shall we? We don't need that kind of anger in our book. And, oh yeah, there's Johnny Storm there too. I didn't even see that that's honestly the first time I'm seeing it. Wow. There you go. I just thought it was a giant explosion. Shows you how much I know about the Fantastic Four. Steve Ditko. Moment of silence. Yeah, that was enough. Okay. Now, as I said before, let's, you know, this Aryan family here, I'm sure you've gone through all 88 guesses by now, you bigots, but let's drop some of the Aryan heritage here, shall we? Let's maybe, look, if you want to keep the woman white, that's fine. Let's maybe make the children mixed race. Maybe she's been off on a bit of a scandalous venture, you know, away from, what the hell is that supposed to be Reed? Good Lord. Yeah, no wonder she would run off with a diverse gentleman. Yeah, so maybe let's make the children black. How about that? Yeah, maybe one black, one Mexican. How about we mix it up a little? Yeah, a diverse Mexican child and a diverse African-American child. I think that'd be a welcome change. And again, maybe let's just leave the rock monster covered up with a cover this whole time, shall we? It's kind of disturbing to look at his giant, rocky limbs. Makes me think he'd be just dropping stones and pebbles everywhere. Again, let's just cut to the chase, make this couple here fully gay. Again, it's 2018, people. Why can't we just accept this? Now, for the rest of the book, it's not too bad. Again, we've got this diverse lady here who's disabled. We've got these, you know, these weighty, body-positive individuals here hanging off of Johnny. Maybe that's part of the reason why he actually flies away so quickly, because, you know, maybe there was a little too much for him. A little too much. It's not to everyone's taste, of course. So, yeah, apart from that, you know, there's not too much more through here. I mean, apart from the heteronormative marriage that we get later on, you know, maybe we could tone that down a little bit. Again, having the thing covered in a burqa, that would work out quite well, I believe. Diverse news reporter, that's good. You know, so we're doing quite well here. All the diverse team members. You know, there's probably only one more change I would make, and that's this. Right here. Yep. The green monster. Look, clearly that they're going for some sort of female trans thing here. Way to make trans people look like monsters, huh? Why do you have to do that? Especially in the presence of you know, the ideal of female form. You go and make trans people look like that. It's just unacceptable, Dan. Okay, and that'll about do it for this book. I mean, as I said, the diversity is quite good. There's just a couple of moments like the Aryan family that kind of ruin it a little bit. So we'll flip back to the cover here, and I think that'll do it, my clansmen. Alright, everybody, until the next episode of Colonel Comics Reads, Colonel Comics, away!